Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks and welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we're taking a look at this ink. This is not a very entertaining bottle, but this is the sample of this Colorverse Black Hole ink that I got from my friend Joseph a while back. In fact, almost a year ago, actually. I'm pretty sure he gave this to me at Baltimore, although it may have been later, but whatever. So this one is a really cool black ink, and I got it at the same time I got Colorverse Sunspot, which I'll probably be reviewing in the near-ish future. But this is one of the blacks that they made that has a lot of sheen and that kind of jazz, and so I thought it would be really cool to take a look at. So it comes in, if you get the full bottles and stuff, it comes in a box like this. This is, of course, Dark Energy, not Black Hole. I don't have Black Hole in a full bottle. Inside that box is at least one of these, so it's a big bottle, and then it has another little bottle that's the same shape. So fair amount of ink you get in these, but at 30 bucks or whatever these guys are going for, they're a little bit on the expensive side, even though you do get quite a lot of ink, and you do get these cool bottles, and like a whole bunch of packaging. I mean, look at all this stuff that's in here, like all kinds of whatnots. So in any case, that's the packaging and stuff. Let's take a look at this ink. There it is. Colorverse Black Hole is a very dark black. This is a super dark black that has, as you can probably see, a little bit of sheen. And sheen in that swatch. It's actually, I use pretty diffuse light for this action here, so it's actually kind of hard to see the sheen. Let's see if I can get some to pop out with a flashlight here. Maybe a bit. It's hard to tell. But anyway, in real life, there's a lot of it. There on that swatch. You get a lot of that in real life. This is, of course, Rhodia paper, which is the stuff I always use, but it pops on pretty much everything. It's real cool. We'll take a look at it on a bunch of different papers. And I've got it in 2 pens right now, and I've actually had it in these pens for quite a while. This is a Franklin-Christoph Model 2 that I've taken to calling Black and Bone, because this is kind of a bone color, and this is kind of, you know, it's got the black bits there, and then this cool sig nib. This is a broad sig, so a fairly broad nib, as you can see here. It's a little bit on the wet side, perhaps. The flow on this ink is a little bit on the wet side. And the other pen I have it in this is this one, which is a Conklin Duro Heritage, which is a factory fine italic. Very, very cool, and I like both these pens a lot, and I really like them with this ink. It makes that black ink, which, look, black can be a little bit boring sometimes as far as ink colors go, and one of the things we do as fountain pen users is we try to get all the colors of ink, at least a lot of us, and so we end up with wild colors and that kind of stuff. I mean, I've just been cataloging some blues, and I've got a zillion different flavors of blue here, but black doesn't come maybe in quite as many flavors, although you might be surprised if you're kind of new to that. Okay, so I've got no problem with this ink, actually. It's really good. You get a little bit of minor bleed on the 20-pound paper. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right quick. It is obviously this up here, and you don't see any feathers. Well, maybe you see a feather or two, like right here in the Staples word, but that's about it. Otherwise, this is a very well-behaved paper, or ink on this even kind of crappy paper. You get a little bit of bleed down here. But this is the Franklin-Christoph Broad Sig. A little bit up here, but this Conklin ink is nib is also very wet. So, a little bit of spots of bleed, but this is kind of the worst paper. So not a huge surprise. On other papers, I mean, obviously it looks good on Rhodia, and it doesn't bleed or anything here. Let's see, did it even bleed in the swatch? You got a couple little dots maybe that came through, but that's a lot of ink I put down in this paper. Here in my currently inked Inky Fingers notebook, this is wheat straw paper. This is when I originally inked this pen, this Broad Sig, with this ink. So I've re-inked it, I don't know, several times since then, but this is from August, beginning of August. You can see there's actually quite a lot of sheen and that sort of thing still here on this. I actually lost my other ink journal, as I mentioned on Instagram. By the way, follow me on Instagram if you want. I'm at Inkdependence. So I had to break out a new ink journal. So a brand new orange ink journal. How much fun is that? And here's what it looks like on Tomoe River. So you can see that flash and that shine. And this looks like it was wet, but I wrote this days ago. And there's no smearing or anything. Sometimes the inks that are sheeny like this, with a lot of smearing. But yeah, not getting any of that here. So that's pretty cool. I think a little bit of, it looks like there might be a little bit of black on my finger, but also remember I'm a guy that plays with pens all the time, so it could be from anything, honestly. Let's try another finger. This one looks good. There we go. Yeah, no, it looks good. So, yeah, this is a cool ink that has all this nice shine and sheen, but it doesn't just fall off the page and onto your hand at every opportunity that it might have. So let's do a quick water test, take a look at the chromatography, and then take a look at a bunch of black inks next to each other. So let's put some ink on, some water on the page. Oh, immediately you get some transfer, some changes, changes. Let that kind of swirl around. Let's give it a little bit of a shake. I've been doing that lately and it makes me happy. There we go. All right. Go ahead and mop it up. Nice fresh Kleenex. It is cold, switching into allergy season, so Kleenex is in full effect here at the Madison house. You can tell from that sniff. All right. Ooh, let's get some more up off of there. A really interesting result, actually. So, there we go. No problem coming through the back of the page here. But yeah, on the front, kind of weird. Look at that. It turns like purpley, actually, when you mop it up. That is real weird, man. I did not expect that. But look at all that purple. Weird. Because you don't see purple on the page. You see a little bit of purple where it gets wet. And actually, I don't even see purple in the chromatography. So here's the chromatography for Black Hole. Right there. Started here and then moved up the sheet. But I guess there's a little tiny swirl of like a reddish purple right there on the edge. But that's it. When you look at it under some water, yeah, a little bit of purple, lavenders. You still can read this, so I guess it's got a little bit of water resistance, but a lot of it's going to wash off. So if you're an ink washer, you might want to use this for some arty type stuff. All right, let's take a look at a whole bunch of different black inks all side by side. So here's Black Hole, and this is on a Coloring Colodex card from my friend Anna. And there you go. So that's a very dark black. The one that I wanted to compare it to, and the reason I originally got it was because I wanted to compare it to Sunspot. Because I bought Sunspot. I had heard it had like a blue sheen to it. I have never seen a blue sheen to this ink. It's got a little bit of a color there, but not much. See a little bit of sheen on these. It's harder to see here than it is in real life, unfortunately. But yeah, both very dark black inks. If I had to guess, I'd say Sunspot might actually be a little bit darker. But it doesn't seem to have the sheen that Black Hole does. And since I bought a whole set of Sunspot, I think I actually like Black Hole better. But let's see how it holds up. Next, I've got 3 oysters. This is Hun or Hoon. I actually don't know. I don't speak any Korean at all. I don't really know what it sounds like. But just a very dark black. It's got a little bit of a shine to it, like a bit of a matte shine here at the edges. But not quite as dark as Black Hole, I don't think. Has a little bit of almost like a greenish tinge to it. All right. We've got, let's see, I've got some favorites here I want to save for a second. This is Kyonoto's Nuribiro, perhaps, which has a nice little amount of sheen there. I used this ink a little bit. In fact, I actually already reviewed this one, so if you want to check back on the channel for that, you'll find it. And it's a pretty cool black, but I have a lot of problems with it hard starting, so that's the real problem with this one. Black Hole, never a problem, so that's cool. Here is Tasha's Kuro, which I haven't tried yet. Let's show you. There's a lot of sheen on this one too, so I'm looking forward to using this one because that's one I haven't had a chance to ink up yet, and it seems like it's got a good amount of sheen just like Black Hole does. And maybe at a lower price, because those Tasha inks are pretty inexpensive. Let's see, we've also got Parker Quink Black, and then Monteverde's Raven Noir, both of which have a little bit of a shine to them, but not a whole lot. Let's back up a little bit. Quink Black is one that is a perennial favorite, and people that use this Quink Black really do like it. I've actually not used this one, I don't think, so I don't even have a writing sample in the back, but it's pretty cool. Raven Noir, I've definitely used this one, although I haven't written on the back of the card, but Raven Noir is a very nice, super dark black as well. Well, sometimes. It depends on the nib. Sometimes, as you can see right here, actually, it gets a little bit almost gray, which is weird, but, that happens. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Blackstone Barrister Black. Just a true dark, flat black. No shading, no sheen, no shine, really. It is just black, black, black. Look at that black. Super dark. Yep, Barrister Black from Blackstone. That's another... It's another Australian ink. Good stuff down there in Australia. Now we've got two of these, which are permanents, so you won't see these run like that one did. We've got Platinum Carbon Black over here and Sailor Kiwaguro over here, both of which have a sort of... Kiwaguro actually dries kind of matte. It looks like it's got a shine, but that's like a matte shine to it. And then Carbon Black is a pretty sheeny, not sheeny, but I guess just like a shiny black. Super dark. Probably blacker than Black Hole, oddly enough. But there you go. There's two of my favorites. Well, Kiwaguro is my favorite of the two, but both are very, very good. Let's see what else we got. So here's one more of the classic black ink category, and this is Aurora Black. Aurora Black is a pretty great solid black. It's actually one of the standbys for if you get a new pen and maybe it's not writing perfectly or something like that, test it with Aurora Black, because if a pen works, Aurora Black will work in it. It's a wet, solid, constant, great ink. So there's a pro tip for you. Get yourself a bottle of Aurora Black. You won't be sorry, but don't put it in a wet pen or you will be sorry. And now, one that you don't see very often. This is Parker Penman Ebony. I got a few samples of these Parker Penman inks from a guy named George out in San Francisco this last year. And you can see little bits of gray there on the edge, but then you get this nice kind of very similar bronzy sheen through the middle. So I think that's a pretty close match, although Black Hole is, I think, more saturated than Penman Ebony. And also you can't really buy Penman Ebony, or if you can, it's super expensive. So thank you very much, George, for sharing that sample with me. All right, so that has been a whole bunch of black inks all next to each other. This has been Colorverse Black Hole. Go to your favorite Colorverse vendor. There are several of them in the US these days. Anderson Pens, Van Ness, I think Pen Chalet maybe has it. Look below in the description for links to places where you can find the Black Hole, and give it a shot. Get yourself a sample, get yourself a bottle if you're feeling squirrely. It is a real strong contender for great black ink. So check that out. And thank you to Joseph for giving me the sample. I appreciate it. All right, see y'all later. Peace out.